There is a double knot between the sacrum and the belly that aborts your creation before it is born. This containment lives encoded in the deep pelvic fascia, transmitted through patterns you inherited without knowing. When this blockage is undone, pelvic rigidity yields. The breath descends to the base of the body, and projects that were stuck begin to flow with real support. You recognize this, the feeling of being divided between wanting to move forward and feeling an invisible weight in the lower belly. Creativity that aborts at the start, strength that doesn't hold. Two forgotten vibrational knots keep this locking active, and as long as they remain, the impulse exists, but something holds it before it begins. Closing this video now means leaving this seal intact. The path to untying these knots at the root lies in the origin of the locking, and you were never taught how to find it. The first knot settled in the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of the spine that anchors the entire pelvic structure. Here, the freezing is primary. The body received an autonomic immobilization order that holds back the instinct to exist fully. The second knot dwells a few centimeters above, in the center of the lower belly, where the symbolic womb of creation, present in all bodies, with or without a physical uterus, contracts and aborts the impulse before it takes form. When these two blockages are dissolved at the root, the body returns to pulsing with creative vitality. Projects gain support, and strength returns to the base. Hermetic traditions name the sacrum as the rough stone that needs to be polished, and the belly as the alchemical vessel where transmutation happens. Without these 2 points awakened, creation remains held at the origin, with no outflow. Egyptian Hermeticism and internal alchemy treated the base of the body as a chamber of transmutation, the place where the dense lead of containment transforms into the living gold of manifestation. The mystery schools taught that without the opening of the lower seal, no higher force could descend and inhabit the being completely. The base is the root of the temple, and when it is sealed, the entire temple remains empty. Polyvagal theory reveals dorsal freezing as an autonomic immobilization order that fixes the body in collapse. Thomas Myers shows how deep fascia crystallizes tensions that pull the whole structure downward. Bruce Lipton describes the epigenetics of inherited traumas, molecularly coded even before conscious memory. The fascia acts as a net that keeps ancient ghosts trapped in the flesh, and the body responds as if the threat was still present. The ritual that undoes the double knot is a vibrational protocol divided into 3 stages. This is not a massage or superficial relaxation. It is a precise map to dissolve the tying that holds your creation at the origin. Each stage acts on a specific layer of the blockage. The first releases the freezing in the sacrum. The second dissolves the seal in the belly. The third seals the opening with sound vibration that penetrates bone and deep tissue. The first stage begins at the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of the spine. Lie face down or stand, leaning forward with your hands supported. Place the palm of your right hand over the sacrum, fingers pointing downward. Begin slow, clockwise circular movements with firm pressure but without causing pain. The touch should be conscious, as if you were awakening something that had slept for decades. Keep the movement for 3 to 4 minutes. The friction warms the deep fascia and sends signals to the nervous system that it is safe to release the primary freeze. You may feel local heat, tingling, a pulse that wasn't there before. If there is involuntary shaking in the legs or hips, do not stop. It is the body processing retained charges that have finally found an outlet. Trembling is language, not failure. The intention here is not to force anything. It is to reactivate neural circuits that were switched off when the body decided that existing fully was too dangerous. The sacrum carries the memory of ancient threats, real or inherited, and responds to conscious touch like one receiving permission to release what it held. As your hands move, breathe deep and slow, allowing the air to descend to the base of the spine. When the heat spreads and the region feels more alive, less dense, you are ready for the second stage. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet on the floor. Place both hands overlapped a few centimeters below the navel, at the center of the lower belly. The pressure here is different. Slow, deep, vertical. Do not rub, just sink your hands into the tissue as if you were touching something buried. Inhale deeply through the nose and direct your breath into the pressure of your hands. Feel the belly expand against your palms. Hold the air for 2 seconds. Then exhale slowly through the mouth, allowing the tissue to yield and release under the weight of the hands. The belly should sink on the exhale, as if returning something it carried unknowingly. Repeat this cycle for 5 to 7 minutes. With each exhale, the inherited seal undoes a little more. You may feel sudden emotions rise, crying for no apparent reason, nervous laughter, mild nausea, nameless anger. Do not hold back. These are cellular memories being released, ancient ghosts leaving the flesh. The body cries what the mind never knew how to name. If nothing comes, that's also fine. Not every release is dramatic. Sometimes it's just a deeper sigh, a sense of space where there used to be compression. Keep breathing into the pressure, maintaining the intention to dissolve what was contracted. The symbolic womb of creation, that energetic center present in all bodies, needs presence, not force. When you feel the belly has softened, that the breath descends without resistance, you have reached a third stage. Keep your hands over the lower belly. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling the body with air down to the base. Hold for a second. Then exhale through the mouth, emitting a low, sustained sound. It can be a prolonged hum or an ah that comes from the depths of the belly. The sound should not be loud, but it should be felt. The vibration needs to cross the skin, penetrate muscle, and resonate in the pelvic bones. As the sound leaves, visualize the vibration descending along the spine, passing through the sacrum, dissolving into the ground like a root that finally finds fertile earth. Each sonic exhalation undoes crystallized tensions that touch alone does not reach, because sound is frequency, and frequency reorganizes matter. Repeat this breathing with sound for 5 to 7 cycles. You may feel the bones vibrate, an inner reverberation that seems to wake the entire structure. This is the pelvis, remembering that it is an instrument, not armor. With each sound, the double knot undoes a little more. With each vibration, the body receives the information that it is safe to create, to manifest, to sustain the new. The complete ritual lasts between 7 and 12 minutes. For the neural reprogramming to set repeat daily for 21 days, the time needed for new patterns to establish in the nervous system. Do not skip days. Each practice is a layer of release, and transformation is cumulative, not instant. The body learns slowly, but once it learns, it does not forget. This protocol is not a technique borrowed from other traditions. It is a somatic map that unites polyvagal theory, myofascial release, and vibrational alchemy in a single ritual. There is no guru to follow, no external dependency. You are becoming your own healer, touching the root of the locking with your own hands, dissolving the seal with your own voice. The results begin subtle and deepen with repetition. The breath naturally descends to the base of the body effortlessly. Pelvic rigidity yields, the hips move with more fluidity. Projects that had been shelved return to mind with renewed clarity. The chronic feeling of weight in the lower belly gives way to lightness, direction, and sustained momentum. You don't just understand what was locked, you feel the locking undoing in real time. This is not temporary relief that disappears when the practice stops. It is a neurophysiological reconfiguration that reestablishes creative flow at the root. The nervous system rewrites the old order. Do not exist fully. Do not manifest what is yours, and installs a new one. You are safe to create. The base is free, the womb is open, and when the body receives this new order, life responds. What you just learned has never been taught in this way. Now, this lives inside you as activated code, ready to be used. But understanding the ritual and feeling its impact in a real life are different things. And for you to see how this practice transforms not only the body, but the entire trajectory of those who practice it, I need to tell you a story. Audrey started well, but never finished. At 51, a retired literature teacher and now an educational consultant, she had drawers full of half-finished projects, courses she didn't launch, books she didn't write, partnerships she gave up before signing. The impulse existed, strong and clear, but something in the body locked everything before it took shape. It was a diffuse weight in the lower belly, a feeling of being held back even when nothing externally stopped her. For years, Audrey attributed this to age, fatigue, lack of discipline, until an old colleague, a somatics practitioner for decades, mentioned in a casual conversation, "Have you ever touched your sacrum?" The question sounded strange, but the colleague explained that many creative blockages live anchored at the base of the body, intentions that were never touched with awareness. Audrey received a printed booklet from a workshop on pelvic release and decided to try, without great expectations. In the first days, touching the sacrum seemed useless. The region was so dense, she barely felt heat. But on the 5th session, something gave an involuntary tremor in the hips that scared her and then relieved her. The breath descended for the first time in years to the base of the body, effortlessly. The weight in the belly began to undo, layer by layer, session by session. Audrey realized the locking wasn't mental. It was structural, coded in the deep tissue. 6 weeks later, a project shelved for 3 years returned to her mind with renewed clarity. This time, she didn't just plan, she executed. The course was launched, partnerships were signed, the book was started and, for the first time, sustained to the end. But the deepest change wasn't external. It was the body pulsing again with vitality, the pelvis moving with fluidity, the feeling of inhabiting her own base, rooted and alive. Audrey understood that creation didn't die for lack of will. It died because the root was sealed. And when the root opened, everything that was held back finally found an outlet. What she unlocked wasn't just a project. It was the origin of her creative power, the base that supports everything that is born. This same release that transformed Audrey's life needs to be sealed in your body now, so the old pattern doesn't return. The physical marker of integration is simple. Breath that descends to the base without resistance, persistent warmth in the lower belly, jaw that softens when you touch the pelvis. To anchor this new state, place your hands over the belly, take 3 deep breaths, and emit a low vibrating sound on each exhale. 30 seconds are enough. When you feel the locking trying to return, use the return point. Say softly, "My root is free." Breathe, letting the air descend to the base, and adjust your posture by letting the pelvis root into the ground. This gesture doesn't solve everything at once, but it brings you back to your axis, reminding the body of what it learned. Sealing isn't overcoming. It is a somatic crystallization that marks the flesh with a new pattern. While the 2 knots remain active, the body carries a silent order not to create. This order did not come from you. It was inherited, transmitted, coded even before your first conscious memory. But what was sealed at the origin can be untied at the root. And when you touch this forgotten point with presence, with intention, with the body itself as tool, the seal dissolves. Creation returns to pulse where previously there was only containment. The alchemist, Paracelsus, taught that the body is the laboratory where the soul carries out its work, not as poetry, but as literal instruction. Transmutation happens in the flesh, not above it. And if the base of the laboratory is sealed, no higher formula works. The root needs to be free for anything true to be born and sustained in the world. Without an awakened base, creation aborts before it breathes. Creation does not wait for permission. It waits for space. And this space opens at the base of the body, in the place you stopped inhabiting so long ago. You learned to live in the head, dissociated from the pelvis, fleeing what pulsed below. But the force that supports everything you wish to manifest is not in thoughts, it is in the root. And the root only generates when it is free to receive, release, and pulse without fear. God does not manifest through contracted bodies. He pulses where there is flow, where the base is open, where the root has been freed to support what is born. It wasn't punishment you carried. It was only a nervous system that learned to freeze to survive. Now you have the map to defrost. You know where to touch, how to breathe, what sound to emit, so the body returns to being an inhabited temple, not a sealed tomb. What held your creation at the origin wasn't a lack of talent, luck, or worthiness. It was a double knot no one taught you to untie. Now you know. And knowing where the lock is constitutes half the key. The other half is to touch, repeat, seal. Because the body doesn't change with theory, it changes when you touch it with truth. If this content resonated with you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any portal of knowledge we open here. If you wish to directly support Inner Temple's mission and help expand this wisdom to more people who need to awaken, consider becoming a member of the channel. Your contribution keeps this transmission alive and allows us to reach those who still carry the active seal. I want to know, did you recognize this locking at the origin? Write in the comments, I untie the double knot at the root and free my creation at the origin. This affirmation seals your presence on the path of somatic liberation. Share this video with someone you know is stuck at the origin, held at the impulse, carrying an unnamed weight at the base of the body. And don't stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video on the channel. What you release at the base of the body manifests in everything you touch. Remember, trauma may vibrate at the origin, but you have the hands, the breath, and the voice to untie it at the root.